landlords across America. A recent lawsuit filed in Salem County, New Jersey's Superior Court could have negative impacts not only on landlords in New Jersey but across the United States if the plaintiffs prevail in this lawsuit. The basis of this lawsuit is this is the Landlord Advocates, where we help landlords become better landlords. I'm your host, Matthew Lyman. Welcome. Landlords, this lawsuit was predicated upon a very terrible, awful, sad crime. On February 5th, 2020, an estranged husband who had a restraining order against him went into the Penns Grove Gardens apartment complex, used his key to get entry into the apartment, and killed his wife, his 5-year-old daughter, and 2-year-old son. Shortly thereafter, he committed suicide in a nearby park. The claim in this lawsuit is holding the complex, its operator, and one of its managing partners culpable based on the alleged issues that they created before. Those issues were negligent hiring, breach of contract, negligence, and wrongful death. The basis of the lawsuit has 3 arguments that they are using in order to win this lawsuit for the estate of the deceased. The first is the locks were not changed on the apartment door. It claims that the victim, the wife, had gone to the apartment complex managers and had asked on 5 different occasions to please change the locks on the door to the apartment because I am in fear of my husband, with whom I have a restraining order against. It claims that the landlord did not do that and they kept the same lock on the door. The attorney who represents the estate went on to state in one of his diatribes in this lawsuit, for lack of a better word, diatribe, he stated that despite tenants' fear for her own safety and security, as well as the safety and security of her 2 small children, defendant landlord denied tenants' request to change the locks. Now, as most of us well know, a restraining order is only a piece of paper with words on it. A lock on a door is only there to keep honest people out. This estranged husband and father was hell-bent on doing the crime that he committed. No restraining order and no lock on the door, unless it was the same as on a bank vault, would have stopped this man from doing what he did. His intent was to go in and kill his family and kill himself thereafter. Should the locks have been changed? Maybe yes, maybe no. But clearly the locks would not have prevented this crime from happening at all. The attorney goes on further to state that women and their children should not have to fear for their lives. We'll lose them because their landlords and the parties they contract with failed to keep those women and children safe. I mean, that's playing on the sympathy of Americans, sad as it is, but women and children are keeping them safe. Where does the landlord's responsibility end, period? Or where does the tenant's responsibility begin? Yes, she asked for help to get those locks changed. They were not done so. The family that is part of her estate, could they not have gone to the store themselves and bought a $30 lock and changed it themselves? That's a question to the ages that will probably never get answered. Now again, we are not victimizing and blaming the victim here, we're not. But clearly, where does the landlord's responsibility end? Most facts, most laws will state that the landlord is fully responsible to protect the landlord, to protect the tenants, their guests, families, all of that. But again, where does it end? The other aspect of this lawsuit, where the attorney mentions the 2 other components that the landlord failed to do, though he did not explicitly state how, was that in 2019, May of 2019, a Tayshawn Hayward was in the apartment complex with a group of friends, and there was another group who had accused the people he was with of stealing $30. A long-time convicted felon who had just been released from prison 8 days earlier was among that group. When Tayshaun Hayward tried to break up this altercation, it was unsuccessful. He then walked away to go to another apartment, at which time this felon, 8 days released, went over and took a handgun and shot Hayward in the face. He subsequently died a short time later. The borough of Penns Grove had put forth an ordinance for apartment complexes. And that ordinance was based upon a couple of beliefs, one of which the borough believes that Tayshaun Hayward's death may have been avoided if apartment complexes were required to maintain more sufficient lighting and security cameras. In this case, when Tayshaun Hayward was shot dead, no cameras, no lighting would have prevented that from happening. It absolutely would not have prevented it from happening. The ordinance goes on to state that apartment complexes of a certain size, such as Penns Grove Gardens, must have cameras on every square footage of the property recording it. Not necessarily inside the buildings themselves, but outside. And they must hold those recordings for 180 days. And the same thing with lighting. The whole square footage of the property must be illuminated. Does it have to be illuminated as you would a football field at nighttime? Is that how much illumination that they're asking for? Where does this responsibility end? The cost for these cameras and the cost for these lighting apparatus would be cost prohibitive. And that cost would be passed on to tenants who might otherwise not be able to even afford to live where they are. The attorney in the case went on further to state regarding the apartment complex. The defendants here didn't bother to follow a law that was passed to address their own bad behavior after someone else lost their life in similar circumstances on the property less than a year before. If he is referring to the Tayshaun Hayward case, he's absolutely wrong. These cases are not similar. This woman and her children were in the home. They were not outside. This man gained entry by using a key to get in and killed his family. If the crime, which we don't know what time of the day it happened, with the wife and the 2 children, if it happened during the daytime, well, obviously lighting would not have mattered because we have enough daylight now to produce enough light to see whatever crime may be happening. And declaring the tenant or the landlord's prior bad behavior. What bad behavior is he talking about? A lack of cameras, a lack of lighting is a landlord's bad behavior? Many of you landlords do not have your properties illuminated so much so. Now yes, lighting can be inexpensive. You put it on the side of the building, it's motion censored. But that can be turned up the switch, because here in my own personal home we have a light similar to that we can flip the switch and the sensor is off and the light is off. To what degree are landlords going to be held responsible if something like this were to happen on your property? Now, the attorney in the case goes on further to state, and this is where we all need to be careful, is this. The predictable result was an even worse tragedy. We hope this lawsuit sends shockwaves through the New Jersey landlord community and makes landlords realize the health and safety of their tenants should trump all other considerations, especially profits. Okay. Yes, we understand health and safety, smoke alarms, smoke detectors, carbon monoxide detectors, removing of snow and ice, salt in the driveways, the walkways so people don't fall, proper electrical outlets, proper hot water. Those kind of things, yes, we would absolutely agree to the health and safety. But short of this apartment complex hiring armed bodyguards and armed security to patrol that complex 24/7, whatever they would have done in this particular case of the mother and 2 children would not have saved the lives of this family. Should this lawsuit go forward, it will, Should this lawsuit be defeated? Yes, it should. Do we feel sorry for the distant cousins who are the estate of the deceased? Yes, we feel sorry for them. Should they be compensated for this? No. This lawsuit should be dismissed. Landlords, leave your comments below, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell so you will be made aware of future videos that we have to produce for you to help you become a better landlord. Until then, take care.